What is up, fellow nerds, and welcome back to the Dapper Snapper Gaming channel, and welcome back to Competitive Decks. Now, if you haven't seen this series before, this is where we go through the Pokedex and look at all of the new and returning Pokemon in the Crown Tundra. We've already covered Isle of Armor and the base game, but we are covering all of the new things, adding them to our Pokedex, and learning about how to use them in competitive singles. As always, if you would like to learn about them in VGC, just hit me up in the comments down below. I would be happy to give you some VGC sets, but for these episodes we tend to just focus on singles. Also, make sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe if you are new. We are on our way to 200 by the end of the year, and I would really like to meet that goal. We've had quite a few of you already subscribe just since the Crown Tundra dropped this past week, so I want to say thank you to all of you, and for all of you who haven't yet, I would appreciate if you would, and stick around and watch all of our upcoming videos. Up next are going to be the legendary birds, then we're going to talk about the Regis, we're going to talk about Slowking as well, and anything else we want to. Hopefully we will have a Wi-Fi battle out this week. I'm not sure if I will have enough mons in-game yet to do anything in-game, but we might do a Showdown Live instead of that anyway, just so that we have some battle content. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump into it. We have Spectrier, whatever you want to call this thing. It's a horse, it's the other horse. We covered the ice horse yesterday, Glastrier, and that thing is insane. The thing is absolutely nuts, and I believe that the ice horse is what I want to feature in our first battle video, whether it's a Wi-Fi battle or a Showdown Live. So be looking forward to that. We will hopefully have a team based around that coming soon. And anyway, in that we learned that there's a lot of things that that thing can do. It's quite versatile. It's just really slow. That's the only thing holding it back. And so then we have this thing that is the exact opposite as far as what it does. So it hits just as hard. It is super frail, and it's really fast. So everything that's opposite of the other one is really bulky, it hits hard on the physical side, and it's ridiculously slow. So this thing is completely the opposite. And honestly, everyone is using this one already, and everyone is really liking this one because it's so fast. But honestly, it's so much of a completely, pun intended, one-trick pony that I don't know how well it's going to stack up in the metagame. Obviously, 145 special attack is insane, especially with a ability like Grim Neigh, where you basically raise your special attack every time you take a KO. It's basically Moxie, but for special attackers, and it's kind of busted. The problem with this is that its move pool is awful. Its move pool is actually one of the worst move pools in the game, to be honest with you, as far as like a legendary, much less a just regular mon. So let's look at the number of useful moves on this moveset. Agility, but we're probably never going to run that because we're already really fast. Calm Mind, okay, sure. Dark Pulse, all right. Hex, cool, love it. Nasty Plot, like that. Shadow Ball, Taunt, Sub, that's it. That's pretty much it. Mud Shot, not really, but okay. Yeah, that Hyper Beam. Yeah, we could use Hyper Beam. That's it. This thing gets like no moves. It's really, really rough. Now, once this thing has Calyrex riding on its back, this thing is absolutely insane, and it's like one of the best mons out there. But without Calyrex riding on its back, this horse on its own is just really struggling as far as coverage goes. But the thing is that Ghost is the best offensive typing right now, and so this thing isn't necessarily dead in the water. It's got a lot of things that really don't appreciate it, especially when we run this first set here. So we're running a Choice Scarf variant here. And you might think it's weird for us to run a Choice Scarf variant with Will-O-Wisp. The whole thing about this is to catch switch-ins, right? So this thing is supposed to come in and it forces switches because it hits so hard and people don't want to give you that KO, which then gives you a boost, right? So they're gonna switch into an appropriate check. That's when you click Will-O-Wisp. The reason you do that is because then the next time your opponent tries to switch that in, they're taking double damage off of Hex. And so that is the whole thing. It's playing the long game. It's not necessarily playing it for that specific turn only. So when you see what they want to switch in, say it's a special defensive wall, you just go ahead and burn it. So not only are they now taking turnly damage, but they are also going to be taking double damage from Hex, which is going to be a lot more than Shadow Ball. And it doesn't hurt to have double Ghost on this because, as I said, no moves, so it doesn't really matter. And then in this slot, we have Dark Pulse. You could really run Mud Shot or even Uproar or like Hyper Beam or something on this. It's really just to have a little bit of coverage here and there. I mean, you need some kind of coverage just in case a normal type wants to come in. But I mean, honestly, if it's like a Blissey or something, there's not really much you can do to a Blissey, even if you burn it. But I mean, it's okay. You just can't really do anything to Blissey with this. And so on that same note, if you want to run 4 attacks, if that's what you're into, then this is an interesting variant for you with specs to boost that damage. We've got Shadow Ball, Dark Pulse, Mud Shot, Uproar. That's literally all 4 of its useful moves as far as like damage dealing moves, minus Hex, of course. It's rough. It's rough. But at the same time, like, don't think that this thing is not powerful. 145 special attack chunks pretty much everything in the game, and almost anything that is burned is going to get 2-hit KO'd no matter what. And that's where your speed comes in, right? Is that you can catch something on the switch in and 2-hit KO most things. So honestly, for me, I think the best way to run this, to be honest with you, is going to be something like this. Even if it's on a set where you don't have Will-O-Wisp and you have, say, Toxic Spike support on your team, so something like a Toxic Spiking Naganadel now, which is a thing, which probably will get banned eventually. But as of right now, Naganadel is still legal and it has the Toxic Spikes. So I think it would be crazy to run this on a Toxic Spike team, which is probably what I will do when I go to feature it, and then you just start chunking everything with Hex. You're going to 2-hit KO almost anything in the game, and then you have no switch-ins, especially when Grim Neigh just starts boosting you up. Anytime your opponent switches, you do over half, then you click Hex again, you knock it out, then you get boosted, and eventually you're just OHKOing everything. This thing can really start stacking up damage if you're not careful. The other kind of way to run this is with Sub Nasty Plot. Really, I only really prefer the 2 methods. It's either one or the other, right? Either choiced and all out, or you play the longer game with your glass cannon. Of course, keep in mind you don't have that much bulk, but run substitute because this thing forces switches. So you click substitute on the switch and then you click Nasty Plot. Now you're at +2 already, and then hitting with Shadow Ball and Dark Pulse, or you could even put Mud Shot there, of course. But it gets insane. And then of course you just start boosting yourself as you go. It's kind of like Magearna, and we all know how busted Magearna is. The other way you could run this is with the Will-O-Wisp on this set with the Hex down here. And so this is even more about stalling out. So like you set the sub, and then you could even click Will-O-Wisp, right? On the turn that they break your sub, and then you're set up for later. So the Will-O-Wisp is pretty nice. It allows it to function by itself. I really prefer it to have the support coming from elsewhere, so maybe bring something with Toxic on your team, maybe the Toxic Spikes like I mentioned. Anything like that is really going to help this thing out, and when it starts clicking Hex, things are going to start dropping. I mean, it's kind of insane. Like, I don't have as many calcs as last time, because honestly, it's just that generalized. It's that simple with this mon. It has so few moves that there's really not a whole lot to delve into. But like, basically, if you have something statused and it doesn't resist Ghost, it's getting 2-hit KO'd at least, if not OHKO'd. It's that simple. It's that cut and dry. You don't really need specific calcs. You just need to know if it is statused, then it's basically gonna drop. So this thing's insane. It's really awesome. So yeah, that's Spectrier for you. So yeah, that's going to be all for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed, and make sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe if you are new. And of course, leave me a comment down below letting me know what you think of these movesets and what you would like to see in the future. I will be covering all of the brand new things first, and then after that I'm going to be covering returning mods. I've already talked about Garchomp on the channel. If you missed that, that'll be up in the iCard above. And the first mod that we are going to be covering as far as returning mods is going to be Metagross after that. So I had a request for that already, and so that is going to be coming first as soon as we cover all of the new stuff. So don't think I forgot about your comment. I did not. And so yeah, that's going to be it for today. So I hope you guys have a great week this week, and I hope you guys stay safe out there with all the craziness that the world is having. And I hope that this gave you a little bit of a break from all of that, so you can just think about a fun game of Pokemon. It's awesome, and I'm absolutely loving Crown Tundra, and I hope you are too. So anyway, guys, I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.